Hello and welcome everyone to a new episode of the Bunnies on BZCast. I am your host, Randy. A new podcast, the official podcast of bunnysign.com. Our first one of the new year for 2016. So let's get this thing rolling. We have a couple of shows for the month of January. We have another one coming up that will be due right around coming out the end of January. What's going on with the Bunny Sign stuff? We have the new current issue. Well, the new current issue that's out that came out January 1st. The cover is Miss Buns. She's still up for the Trix Rabbit cover. To be on the cover for the cereal box. So make sure you guys download that. Go to bunnysign.com and go to the current issue and make sure you download that issue. All the downloads help, of course, with recognition for Bunny Sign. Social media pages, we are at official Bunny Sign. On Instagram, we are at official BZine on Twitter and Bunny Sign on Facebook. So it's been like a little over a month since we've done a recording, but again, I'm excited to have two shows. I have a friend coming on in a minute or so, and who's also very knowledgeable in the bunny field. Coming on in about a minute. There's one thing that I wanted to address that someone commented on one of our posts, calling out someone else that's saying they were a breeder and having her blocked. I did message that person and say how that situation was going to be taken care of. So the situation has been taken care of as far as Bunny Sign is not going to, investigate every single, person, every 3,000 people that like the Facebook page on, whether they're breeders or whether they're, real bunny people. So, real bunny parents. So, as long as someone is not going onto the page and sending us, bad messages and, trolling us on the comments, then we'll, we're okay. We have to be okay with it. Just a heads up to anyone who saw those comments of someone being called out as a breeder. I'm not saying that person was wrong. They might have been probably right, but it was handled by Dustin. And the team, Dustin and the team talked about it. That's pretty much it for the beginning of Bunny Sign. So again, visit bunnysign.com. Go to the current issue to download it. The Bunny Sign BZCast is on YouTube.com, Soundcloud.com, and iTunes Podcast. Again, YouTube.com, Soundcloud.com, iTunes Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and share it with other people. I'll be tweeting about it and Instagramming it as soon as it's out, and then Facebook as well. Tag HRS Chicago in it because our guest of the show is Jan Rebmann of HRS Chicago. She's the director there. Someone that I've had a lot of side conversations with about my own personal bunnies and their situations. So I would like to bring in my guest, Jan Rebmann of HRS Chicago. Jan, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, really good. I finally got you booked in for the show.
Yeah.
So, just to give so you're the director at HRS Chicago. Just to give everyone a little bit of background of what you've done in the world with bunnies.
Well, our organization actually started way back in the late 80s. We were like a sort of a Chicago arm to the national HRS way back, a long time ago. And it was a newly formed National HRS Chicago, and there were some early pioneers that were from Wisconsin and in Chicago that kind of helped start the HRS Chicago chapter. Since then, we have actually moved away from National HRS and because we're our own 501c3 nonprofit, so we decided in 2014 to move away from the National HRS and be an independent rabbit rescue, so that we could focus more on the rescue aspect more than the educational aspect. Because then the organization did a lot of big conferences at Harper College in Palatine, where folks from all over the nation came to network and share about it. And I think the first one was 1994. And that was the first time we were incorporated in 1994. And the chapter manager then was Anita Ricker, and things really took off when she was here. Since then, we've done lots of rescuing, lots of educating, a lot of energy went into the educational part and all that. So we had decided to split off and become just an independent rabbit rescue, simplify things, and try to be there mainly, for the rabbits. We're proud of our accomplishments, and especially the rescue work. And we've rescued and rehomed almost 1,500 rabbits to date. I think we're on 1,507 right now. And most of our charges come from, real hardships, homes and shelters, and some with dire medical issues. And we just want to focus more on the rabbits and the networking in the rescue world rather than networking about events and educational things. So we wanted to do more hardcore rescue than educational. So that's why we did that. So we hope we'll be here for years to come for the bunnies. And last year I think that we rescued, we got 30 out of shelters and adopted out about 23. So we're going strong.
Oh, that sounds really good. It sounds like things are going pretty well, and you guys are moving forward pretty well.
Right. And it's just a matter of focusing our energy on the rabbits, not on, networking with people and politics, more on the rabbits themselves.
Of course, that's the number one priority.
Exactly. And sometimes things can get away from that where we do think that education is important. We don't want to spend our energy in large conferences and things like that anymore. We want to mainly be there for the rabbits in the shelters that need us. When the shelter falls, we want to be able to focus our energy on getting that money out.
Yeah, I could say it talking to you because I also live in the area and know some of the situations that are going on with some of the rescues. As I've had conversations with you about AWL, but that's a whole different, side story, not for the show.
Right.
So, yeah.
They're doing, a lot of these shelters do the best they can with what they have.
Yeah.
I guess, we feel lucky that there are shelters that take rabbits at all. In the old days, long time ago, there were shelters who wouldn't even take rabbits at all. They're like, we don't know anything about rabbits, we're not taking them. And now more and more shelters are at least taking them and sheltering them so they're not dumped on the street, which they are dumped on the street as well. As you know, Red Door Shelter has rescued about almost 80 rabbits since last April.
Yeah.
Just on the street. So AWL has their hands full with, they're an open admission shelter. They have a lot of bunnies, but at least they adopt them out.
Yeah.
So they're...
yeah, that's where my two are from, so...
Right, I know, I remember.
So,
yeah, they adopt them out and they're willing to spay and neuter for people, when they, when they pick them out for adoption. So, that's a plus for the rabbits. Nothing's perfect, no shelter is perfect. They all have their, challenges, the staffing and the animal care. All that is just very, very hard work.
No, I bet those people, just specifically talking about AWL, and no one else is going to know what I'm talking about, but that, it's a shelter that has cats and dogs, and it has a little wildlife room for rabbits, just to give people, to paint a picture for people listening. There's a little wildlife room, but when it gets packed, it gets packed. It's like cages on top of cages.
Right.
It's nothing like, well, I think no, not to take any shots, but no splitting hairs was pretty packed. I've only been there once, but man, they were pretty packed too. But at the same time, you know, we both know that they're using, you know, their resources, all the resources they could possibly use, you know, to at least give them a home. So
yeah, somewhere to go, and that's the thing is, I think with the general public who aren't rabbit savvy, don't understand is how full these shelters are with rabbits. How they're the third most popular shelter pet in the nation. So when if we tell people, oh, there's lots of rabbits in the shelter, you know, people don't know rabbits. They're like, really, rabbits? Like, really? And I'm like, yeah, there's tons. I mean, there could be 40 in one shelter, 20 in another, and you know, I'm like, wow, I never thought rabbits. And I'm like, yeah, it's not as dire as cats. I mean, cats are, but then cats get adopted a little faster than rabbits because not everyone is rabbit savvy. But the need is out there. There is very much an overpopulation, and there are people who are dumping them as well, you know, because they just don't want to bother taking them to the shelter. So therefore, you know, that's why you hear on Facebook all those call to action search parties at Red Door. You know, when they spot us, someone tells them about a stray, they send out a whole slew of people to try to catch the bunny, and they've been really on top of that. And they've gotten, you know, like 80 rabbits in the last, not even a year yet.
Yeah,
so they're being dumped in shelters left and right, and they're being dumped in the woods and on the streets left and right.
Yeah, I've been keeping track of the Red Door count thing too, and yeah, their team of people and their networking has really done an amazing job of bringing them all in. So we got 3 major topics for the people listening at home. The first topic, I done a review of the summer one, I believe, of the House Rabbit Journal. Is from the International House Rabbit Society. If you become a member, I believe it's like a $20 donation. You get a journal. I made the donation when it was a little cheaper to become a member, so I became a member. But you get this nice, how many pages? 12-page journal. It's got nice little information. Jan has also read it as well. Jan, how crazy is the Ozzy story?
The what story?
Ozzy, the little white rabbit. What was this? He didn't have like back leg movement.
Right.
Yeah, he had skin that was, or like fur that was missing in spots or something. Right. He just had. I mean, he's a special needs bunny, but they really did a good job of like a 3-page article on Ozzy's story, and he's adopted, and someone's taking care of him as a special needs bunny. That's pretty awesome.
It is awesome. In the shelter, you know, in the world where they have animal patrols and all that, a bunny coming in like that would have been euthanized right away. The National HRS, you know, I think it was their center, rescued him out, and he had a whole team of medical people helping him. So, yeah, that was one lucky bunny. And it just goes to show you their value. I mean, they're not you know, just a rabbit, who cares? No, they're living, sentient beings. He had a personality. You know, he was important and valuable. And look what happened when you treat him with respect and with value, amazing things happen. You know, I mean, he got so much better, and, you know, someone adopted him, and it was a great success story.
Yeah, it is. I mean, to kind of sum it up for the people that listened, like I said, he didn't have back leg movement. He was brought in. He got this, like you said, this team of people to work on him, and he got better. And then I believe there was a setback or two with, I can't remember exactly what it was. There was some kind of setback or two where he needed more medication and more time at the shelter. And then it became like, just like a miracle,
Right.
available for adoption. And I love the picture in the front where he's greeting people. They got him sitting in a box.
And it's in a basket, I think it is, or a padded basket or box. And he was a little ambassador bunny. But yeah, I think it was. I don't remember quite if this is right, but a fused spine or fused.
Yeah, that sounds
something
right.
With spinal cord injury or something like that, and he's went through a lot of chiropractor and I think maybe laser and I don't know if it's acupuncture or not, but he did a lot. Yeah, they did a lot of. They helped him a lot. It took a long time, but he's doing very well, and that's that's great.
Yeah. Just doing a quick skim. I'm skipping through that article. What did you think of the? I thought this was an interesting 2-page piece on the bunnies and the obstacle courses, on what it can bring out if the rabbit is kind of just given time to run the course by itself and not really pushed along. The article is more so talking about rabbits and competition. That's kind of like going the wrong way about it, of using them in competition, because they're, kind of feeling forced to do it. But I thought this was a good piece on how, they could bring out good emotions and good, it's good exercise, obviously. They have a couple of pictures in the article from San Diego House Rabbit Society of the bunnies doing it. So what were your thoughts on that piece?
Well, I think the bunny agility thing is wonderful. I think it's great exercise for the bunnies, as long as they're not competing, like you said, and it benefits the rabbit and not so go to the people. I think it's a wonderful thing. I think that San Diego House Rabbit Society does a wonderful job with that. I don't think they use clicker training or that. I think they did it one time, but now I think they just do. They just guide the bunny towards the course, and then the bunny kind of runs it on their own. And yeah, I think it's wonderful. They're having a great success rate with that. And then there's other ways of doing that. I guess some people do with clicker training and treating, which is a lot slower. But it's the bunny learns that if he does these specific jumps, I guess you start 1 or 2 at a time, and then you can increase it, and they get the treats and stuff. And that's the way to do it too. As long as the bunnies are having fun and it benefits them with exercise. And yeah, I liked the article. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, like I said, there's some people who don't think that should be happening at all. I'm not one of them. I think it benefits the rabbit greatly if it's the right bunny. If the bunny really should say don't want to do this and they're just want to go home or whatever, then they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be there. But outgoing, friendly, active bunnies should get. I think they would love this as a job. As a thing to do. As long as people aren't pushing them, or frustrating them, and it's benefiting the bunny, the people. Not like my bunny's better than yours or anything. As long as they're not racing, the competition, and as long as the bunny's enjoying themselves, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, as long as it's handled correctly, then it seems like it's actually pretty good for the bunnies.
Right.
So the next piece I wanted to go over, I thought this was kind of interesting, was the Watership Down. It was like the play. The people were like kind of dressed up in bunnies, and I think it was based off. Was it based off a novel?
Yeah, the novel Watership Down. Yeah, it was kind of like you said, a play, kind of not an improv, what you call kind of a
like a stage play.
Yeah, and they said it was very powerful to be in their place, because I don't know if you read the book. The book is a roller coaster ride of emotion, and you really, they speak from the rabbit's, perspective, and it's they say it's quite powerful, and they had, I guess, some bunnies in the lobby that people were able to interact with after, the play. I thought it was pretty neat. I wish I could have referencing that. That was Watership Down is my favorite book. And to see a play like that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, after reading the play and the kind of power, like they talked about the ending of the play, and you had people clapping and crying at the same time. I was like, wow.
Right.
Wow. So yeah, I put that on my list of like bunny books I gotta read.
Oh, you gotta read that. Everyone has to read Watership Down. Every rabbit person. Yeah, but like I said, it's a roller coaster, right? So and it's a young adult novel. So I read it. I finally read it. I think it was 1996. I finally read it, and yeah, it's my favorite book.
All right, so you heard it from Jan, and you heard it from the article. Everyone, check out Watership Down if you haven't read it yet. It sounds pretty impactful. Do you? I read this piece, and maybe you can expand that in or not. Was the Amy Espy piece? She was like the original pioneering spirits behind it.
Yeah. Amy Espy was a national HROS volunteer who was one of the early pioneers, very instrumental in moving that organization forward and helping to make it what it is now. She was one of the best educators ever. I mean, the archive of the House Rabbit Journal is just full of her articles and her educational endeavors, and very, very wise, and knew rabbits, very well. And, she passed away. So, they are trying to feature some of the articles so that the newer rabbit generational people can benefit from all her wisdom and all of, her articles.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat that it kind of laid out the names of the articles that she did in the past, and like I think she has her own little section in like the House Rabbit Society, like the rabbit.org page, where you could see you could see her stuff. I'm looking for that now. It might have been like just rabbit.org / like her part of her name, but like rabbit.org / Epsy. But yeah, I thought that was a really interesting piece on like you said, they give new people, new rabbit owners, or people that I've had rabbits for years, but I never heard of her name, and I thought it was pretty cool, like history background on the House Rabbit Society. And
yeah, she was an important part of that, of the whole movement.
So the very back, there's one last part I'm saving for last, that has to do with the next topic of the show. The very back kind of talks about the Whole Foods situation. I never really got to ask you about that in all the conversations that we had. So, however long you want to talk about it. So what did you think about that whole situation? Like, did you completely rule out shopping there when they announced?
I did. Yeah. I was part of the first protest we did. We did a picketed and protested the Wheaton store with Sweet Bunny Project and Earth Animal Sanctuary and BunnyMama.com and Lorraine Floss and Laura Fleming. There's a few more. We picketed the Wheaton Whole Foods when we found out that they were nationwide selling rabbits in the meat department. So we did that, and I think I just did the one. And then an organization was formed, was the Rabbit Advocacy Group.
Yeah.
They went. Yeah. Pardon?
Yeah. No. We had Marcy Schaaf on a couple months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, all that, and then that movement, and then the local people here, her name is Patty Cora, she kind of really went she really took off with the whole thing, and when she organized picketings all over the place for Whole Foods. And when people couldn't go, she went herself. So she did some amazing things. She's a very fierce bunny warrior. Anyway, when National Housewives Society got involved in, there was a few groups. There was one particular person who flew out to the board meeting, and because she was a shareholder, and she voiced her concern about the bad social media press it was getting, that they were selling rabbit meat, and that she was a rabbit lover, and that she thought it was a really bad idea, and that they didn't like, the bad publicity. And none of the shareholders did. So the next day, they announced they would stop selling rabbit meat. At the end of the year, they would completely stop, which was a huge win. And then the rabbit advocacy group and Patty Cora went on, and Lorraine LaFlosse went on to go after quite a few others. They got Caputo to stop, Mariano stopped, I think Kruger, I'm not sure. They had quite a few independent little markets to stop selling rabbit meat because they just followed suit. They saw that Whole Foods says, we don't need this bad publicity. It was even on the news, It was even on the news that Whole Foods, or in the news, I should say, that Whole Foods was taking a lot of flack for selling rabbit meat from, they call us animal rights activists, of course. And that, so when they stopped, all the other grocers that, we don't need this decline in sales, they all stopped too. So there's quite a few that's up, many, I think it was 10. And they're still working on a few small independent ones. I don't remember their name. No, I thought Kruger was one of them, but we don't have that. I don't think we have Kruger in our area. In the Chicago area, I don't think.
I think they're more so Indiana than Illinois, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think that's what they're working on now, trying to get them to stop. But every time they go after a store, or they don't go after them, they started contacting the manager and telling them, we don't like this and all that. And it seems like the minute they target or focus on a specific store, the store turns around the next day and says, okay, we're done. We're not going to sell it anymore. It's a big win, to have to see our pets in the freezer case,
Yeah, so to conclude the whole food situation, do you think part of the reason I brought up that article is the Rabbit Advocacy Network, if I could say it. Their Facebook page has been telling people to remind people to check Whole Foods to make sure they stay up to their promise.
Right.
So, do you think people will go back and shop there after they stopped, or do you think you will?
I did. Yep, I did. I did boycott it all through this, which was a shame because, being a vegetarian, the best brands of, vegetarian foods are at Whole Foods. I mean, there's a few things here and there in other stores, but Whole Foods is the best. I mean, you can go in there and get almost everything you need if you're a vegan or a vegetarian. So when I boycotted them, I was like, oh no, well, now am I going to get this? Now am I going to get that? So I was glad, and I did go back, actually, but it wasn't until just weeks ago, I think it was, I finally went back. And I didn't see any rabbit, and they had duck, which was just as bad to me. But I have always avoided the meat case because I don't eat meat, so I've always, I would skip that aisle when I was browsing through. But yeah, I did go back to Whole Foods, and I was really happy because, we have a new Mariano's here in our neighborhood. So I was happy to hear that Mariano's agreed to stop because that was the other place I could get a lot of the, vegetarian foods that I usually eat because they have one Whole Foods section full of vegan food. So yeah, I did go back to Whole Foods. It was only a couple weeks ago, but yes, I went back to Whole Foods. I'm glad because Trader Joe's just doesn't have the things that I buy.
Well, that's good that you could go back to using the resources for your own bunny at home and and for HRS Chicago and the other rescues.
Right.
So the piece that kind of has to do with one of our main topics is the perspective. I posted this on our Facebook, on our Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. I do have a couple of people who left comments. I will read those comments.
Okay.
But the piece that kind of reminded me of that topic, and I'm looking for it now, is that second page piece. Rabbits Reframed, where and it's by Beth Wilbury. It says ways to change a person's perception of the species in one sentence. Her main.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Her main topic is what she explains to people when she talks to people, to try to get the perspective of people that aren't, bunny parents. That's the phrase I'm using for this episode, is bunny parents. That they kind of only remember like a bad situation that they had where it didn't work out well, and they didn't think about, like, the word relationship didn't come to their mind, which sounds kind of crazy to you and I, but, to other people, I guess it doesn't. So I thought that was pretty powerful.
Right.
And that goes into our main topic, and that's, it's pretty much the headlining topic of this show, is the perspective when you come across people, people that don't adopt rabbits, don't work in shelters, rescues, don't, donate or foster or anything like that. What do they think of rabbits? So I'm going to read these off first. There's 3 people. Yeah, 3 people. It's only a couple of paragraphs. It'll only take me a second. So the first one that I'm going to read is John Goodwin. John is from the Knickerbocker Facebook page. He is Nick's dad. John Goodwin, usually when you talk to... This is to quote John. Usually when you talk to someone, they either, 1, tell you a story about how they had a rabbit as a child and how they killed it in some stupid, usually unavoidable way, and 2, make a joke about eating the rabbit, or 3, say they've been thinking of getting a rabbit, at which point I give them a speech on how much work they are and usually talk them out of it.
Right, exactly. But we all get that. I'm sure you get that too. Every time you mention you have a rabbit as a pet, or you, like, for instance, we'll go to the grocery store, have a cart full of greens, and they'll say, "Oh, what do you do with all the greens?" And we say, "Oh, we have rabbits." First thing we say, we hear it every day. "Oh, I used to have a rabbit when I was a kid." And then silence. Yeah. What happened to your rabbit? "Oh, I don't know. I was just a kid. My dad got rid of it. I don't know what happened. I was just a kid, so I don't know." Or my 6-year-old brother was holding it, dropped it on its head, and it died. Always. I used to have a rabbit when I was a kid. And then what happened to that rabbit? "Oh, I don't know. Or something tragic happened, or we always lived outside and did fine. We didn't want it anymore, so we gave it away." That kind of thing. We hear it all the time. "Oh, we always have a rabbit." So I think that people think that rabbits are just, they don't give them the level of respect that cats and dogs get.
Yeah.
So I think the majority of people think they're just good little animals for children that they could just get rid of when they don't want them anymore. In fact, one woman said to me, and it was the one who was getting rid of, she had an accidental litter, and she wanted me to take all the babies. And I said, she had 5 babies and a mom. And I said, so I sexed the babies, and I took 4 of them. And I said, I don't have room for all of them. Can you just keep the mom and the daughter together? They'll be a good pair, and even if you don't have time to spend with them all the time, they'll have each other. You won't have to worry as much. And we were in their driveway, and then walks up, and her daughter's 14. She goes, "Oh, here's my daughter." She starts bragging on the daughter about how she does the piano or something or other, how great and responsible. And she goes, "Oh, she actually is the one who owns the bunny." And I said to her, "Oh, don't you want your bunny?" And she just looked at me like I had 3 heads and walked in the house. And the lady said, "I know." And the lady said, "We're just done with bunnies. We've had enough. We've had them long enough. We're done with them." So I tried to talk her into keeping the mom and the daughter, and I said, "Here's a place you can get them spayed, and your life will be so much better, and so would yours if they're spayed, and blah blah blah." So I took the 4 bunnies, and I waited and waited, and sure enough, 2 months later, she dumped them into the county shelter, the 2 of them, and they asked the reason, because they always ask the reason they're giving up the bunny, and they said, "We just don't want them anymore." And I was like, "Gee, you don't even care enough to say you're allergic, or I don't have time, or, well, we just don't want them anymore." So that's it. There's just this, there's no, I don't know, they don't even think of them as living beings sometimes, they're just, yeah, we're done with the bunny thing. But the interesting thing is, there's a little white dog running all over the place, and they were just kissing and hugging that dog and spending tons of money on grooming. You know what I mean? Like I was a little Deshaun, I guess.
Yeah.
And they were just so proud of this little dog hopping all over the place, and it was a cute little dog, but it was the love of their life. And then, but we're done with bunny. We're done with the rabbit thing. We've had it. We've had it with them. And in a way, I could understand, because the stress of the accidental litter, because they were told, the 2 bunnies were both female. Well, one was male. So the minute, that they discovered the bunny was a male, they put that bunny in the shelter, and then they kept the mother and the babies. At least they kept them until they were 8 weeks. But still, they just didn't have the level of caring like they did to their little white dog jumping all over the place. It's just like, it was like they cast them away. They're just, we're done. And I thought, these poor bunnies. Because I volunteer in shelter too, and I've been there many times when the bunny was surrendered. And the people who are surrendering them are just, there's no tears, there's no nothing. Like, there's often tears with the dogs when they surrender, and cats.
Yeah.
But when they give up a bunny, they say, "Yeah, we're just done. We don't want it anymore. No one has time for it. No one will take care of it." And then they dump them in this filthy cage, They give the cage to the shelter. And the staff just, does the paperwork, and then, I used to be in there like every Saturday all day, and I would just take the bunny and wrap the bunny in a towel and sit in the chair around the corner in the hallway and just hold the bunny. And they're terrified. They're just as terrified as any, like a dog or a cat who's passed away into a place that's loud, and they don't know where they're at. They're being abandoned, and they know it. And just because they don't howl and bark or meow doesn't mean they're not feeling that abandonment. You could see it. You could feel it in their eyes. There's just something about rabbits and their nonverbal language. I would just, like I said, I would just wrap the bunny in the towel and hold the bunny and say, and I would just talk to the bunny and say, "You didn't do anything wrong. None of this is your fault. We'll do the best we can to help take care of you and get you a new home with someone who will really love you." And it's, it's really sad. They just cast them away. They don't even think of them as living beings.
Yeah, it is frustrating that there's, to some people, that they're considered like a phase or like a step.
Yep.
Like, you're past this point of responsibility. Let's go adopt something else.
Right.
It is. I think.
They'll say, the kid's not taking care of it. And so, how old is your kid? 10. No 10-year-old should be responsible for a life. It's the adult who needs to be responsible for this life. And, even if you don't have time or whatever, the kid can help you and everything, but you can't expect a child to have that level of maturity. It just isn't. And that's, I think, the public perspective is a kid's pet. and then they expect the kid to take total responsibility. The kid doesn't have that level of maturity to do that. Plus, rabbits are very complex animals. They're not like...
We know.
You have to learn. Yeah, we know to learn their behavior. They're all different, and they have special needs. And they're prey animals. They're not cats and dogs. They're prey animals. And if sometimes, the bunny's too shy. All bunnies are shy. They're prey animals. That's their survival. They're going to go hide in their box when you make a noise because they want to live. So they have instincts to protect themselves by hiding and running. So if people don't understand their complex behavior, their special needs, and they're almost like a 2-year-old kid.
Yeah, it's
like having a 2-year-old toddler around when they're out around, when they're playing, when they're out exercise and playing, you have to supervise them like a 2-year-old kid. You gotta take stop them from chewing on the couch and digging in the corner of the chair and going for a wire that you forgot to grab. It's like having a 2-year-old kid.
Yeah, that stays 2 years old for 10 to 12 years or 10 to 15 years. Yeah, I'm completely with you in the fact that it's infuriating. It's that I always tell people when I do posts on like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for Bunny Zion to at the very least do your research. Do your research on what it takes to take care of one, because or else you're gonna be overwhelmed and you're gonna give up quick.
Well, that's why the person you said, would you say John? His name was.
Yeah, John.
Said he tries to talk him out of it. Yeah, actually, that's the same thing, because we know that unless they understand how complex their needs are, they're going to be cast away. They're going to be dump shelter, or they're going to give it to a friend or a relative because they're just not going to want it anymore because they don't understand what's involved. So you have to make it as unattractive as possible to see where their level of passion for the animal is. Their interest of helping the animal and not expecting the rabbit to fit their needs. So some people expect an animal to fit their lifestyle, like, this bunny, is noisy all night. Well, bunnies are noisy at 4 a.m. That's their crepuscular. That's their time to get up and move around. It's 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Or the bunny doesn't do nothing at 3 o'clock when the kid gets home from school. Nope, that's when bunnies sleep. You have to learn, like you said, do the research and learn what the bunny's needs are, not what the people's needs are.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to read the next one, and the next one is Joyce Michelle Cohen. Joyce has actually left comments and emails and comments, so thank you. Well, thank you, John, for your comment, and then Joyce Michelle Cohen, so I'm quoting her. People ask us what it's like to have a rabbit. What do they do? How long can they live? We tell them rabbits are very sociable pets, like other animals. They have different personalities. Just be sure to keep them away from wires, etc., since they do not need. They have a need to chew. They deserve more respect, and for people to understand they are not meant as a novelty for Easter.
Right.
End quote.
Right.
So thank you, Joyce,
yep.
for that one, and that we just.
I agree with that. That's the biggest. That's why we all, us funny people, we always dread Easter, because we know that people are going to want, Easter rabbits for their kids, even though you tell them it's not a good idea, they're still going to want them. Yeah, we know, but, we did our research and we want to, we feel we're ready to bring in, our kids ready for a rabbit, that kind of thing. It's like, no matter what you tell them, they're going to do it, and then most of the Easter rabbits end up dumped or in shelters.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on the whole Easter thing. Our next episode, not to break we're not changing the topic at all, but just throwing it in there. Our next episode does have to do with a campaign that's going to be started very soon against Easter. So for people listening, stay tuned for that next episode. It's already scheduled with the person. But yeah, it's a special campaign. It's going to be started, I believe, in February. That's going to be against people adopting just for the cause of Easter. It has a special name and hashtag and stuff. But yeah, that's in the next episode. So
are you talking about Make Mine Chocolate?
Yeah, we've talked about Make Mine Chocolate in the past. They were actually mentioned in the House Rabbit Journal, I believe. Man, I can't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what page it was, or where it was at, but I remember them being mentioned. And they also got on the news.
The organization that started the Make Mine Chocolate campaign is the Ohio. I'm not sure if it was the Buckeye HRS chapter or Ohio Rabbit Rescue. I don't remember, or the Columbus. I think it was the Columbus House Rabbit Society. Started the Make Mine Chocolate campaign. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think if we Google it, we'd find that. But I know it's Ohio somewhere.
Yeah.
They're the ones that started it.
Yeah, I think, we partnered with them in April, or it was April or March's issue last year, where someone from their organization, Make Mine Chocolate, from their camp, had a piece in our April issue last year. So yeah, it was. I think, hopefully people read that, and people see their the Make Mine Chocolate slogan and kind of can tell others, spread the news and tell others, not to just adopt a rabbit for Easter.
Right. Yeah, that's an important message, the Easter thing, and I think it's had an impact. I think some people realize, they're not Easter toys and buy a stuffed bunny. That I think it's had an impact. But there's still some people out there who think having especially grandma, I want to buy an Easter bunny when the grandkids come over. I want to surprise them, and then grandma, starts calling all over. My grandkids aren't taking care of this bunny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There is one more quote on the subject. This one is actually a little longer. The person that left it is Sharon Falter, and starting her quote, I think the progress in the rabbit landscape is a mixed bag. People's consciousness of bunnies is slowly raising. More and more people know about house rabbits. After 15 years of having bunnies run my house, I get fewer and fewer quizzical looks, and more I hear they're great pets, and I'm also hearing fewer I had a pet rabbit when I was a kid horror stories. Having said that, I don't think pet rabbits get the same respect as a dog or a cat. The local PetSmart, where I get my bunnies kibble, offers free food for dogs and cats after a certain number of bags, but not for bunnies. They ask, do you want to donate to homeless pets? When I ask if there are any rabbit rescues on the donation list, I get a blank stare. The general ignorance of people in the pet business still horrifies me. I have yet to find anywhere with more than one sad little aisle of very unhealthy treats mixed with piggy, parrot, and ferret stuff. Because bunnies and parrots and ferrets have such similar dietary needs. That's sarcasm. And then the guy at the local feed store trying to tell me it doesn't matter what cutting of hay I get for the bunnies, they won't care! Exclamation point. Aha, my Jasper bunny cares very much about his food. I hate to tell you. Fortunately, the online resources for bunnies are getting better. Also, I have had better luck finding qualified vets, and it's been quite a while since a vet told me if the rabbit dies, it's not my fault. End quote.
Oh.
So that's for what we've talked about, and for the first two opinions. First off, thank you, Sharon, for sharing that with us. That's more of a positive outlook, I guess you could say. She's had more of a positive experience, I guess, recently, to kind of sum that up. I think she's got a really, really good point on PetSmart, because we particularly have them by us where we could get litter, hay, and food. And it goes on sale, but at the same time, there's really nothing beyond that. There's no free rabbit food. The treats are ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculously unhealthy.
Well, do you think that, especially Petco, they don't carry a lot of us rabbit-savvy people buy the Expo products. We buy everything we need online, basically. PetSmart has a few things that by Expo, like your commentator said, you go in there and there's aisle small animals in one little tiny section for rabbits, and it's one bag in there. Mm-hmm. One bag of Expo basic tea, or one bag of the other type, and that's it, nothing else. If I want 2 bags, I can't get them because they're one bag, that was it. And I'll even ask the person, I'll go, well, you don't have any more bunny food? No, we just pack what they give us. You think that, and Petco doesn't carry anything Expo, they carry KT and all that, but you think that they would be jumping on the bandwagon of all of us, online, all of us buying online. You think they would realize, oh wow, they're buying all this stuff online, we should cash in on that and carry it. But, Pet Supplies Plus did a little bit of a better job. There was one in my neighborhood in Wheaton. Now it's in Glen Ellen, I think. They had a lot of the Expo products, and they had a whole half an aisle for rabbit food, and they even had the Expo Basic Bunny Tea Timothy pellets in bulk, where you could, pull the lever and get as much as you wanted. They seemed a little bit enlightened, and then I think it went under new management, and because every time I went in there, I couldn't find any of the Expo or anything. So once again, I just didn't bother going in, and I just buy everything online. You think that they would realize we're buying everything online, and they could be benefiting from all our sales. We buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how decently priced. It's actually decently priced on like Amazon too. When I've looked at it on Amazon,
yep.
Like the boxes of, or not the boxes, the bags of Expo hay and pellets.
Yeah, and the Doctors Foster and Smith run really good sales, and you can get everything you need, and then free shipping over $49.
Yeah, it does mention in the House Rabbit, not to backtrack too far, but in the House Rabbit Society Journal, that you can get benefits. I'm just giving them free advertisement. Why not? The bunny, it has discounts to these places: Bunny Rabbit Toys. I guess it's like a website probably. Busy Bunny, Cats, Rabbits, and more, and then Small Pet Select. So, if you do become a member of the House Rabbit Society, and you get the journal, you get discounts. I think you get like a membership card in the mail. I have it in my wallet. And then I guess you probably just type in your membership number and you get some little discount, which is, hey, that's a nice little benefit.
Right.
So yeah,
and they also donate to rescue organizations too. Like there's a few vendors online that will, if you they don't like Smile, Amazon.com. You can name your charity, and then they send so much money to them. When you buy online, and there's iGive.com, so you can name charities when you're shopping online too, and they send donations to the charity you name, and you can name House Rabbit Society.
Yeah, Jen, I actually was meaning to tell you that I did that. I had a cousin, not a cousin, my wife's cousin in California. I shot for him for Christmas. I used iGive for the first time, and I don't know what kind of cut you guys get, but I used HRS Chicago, with iGive, and I
Yay! Thank you.
see, and I spent like $60, so I don't know how much you guys get out of that, but
it's a percentage. It depends on the store. Each store donates different amounts. Like, Amazon's not part of iGive.com. They want you to go on to SmileAmazon.com and name the charity, and they give quite a bit because we've gotten checks from them they're pretty substantial. Like from people shopping. iGive.com, I think we get quarterly checks, and we get maybe, I would say average $25 every quarter from people just shopping, and it's free, it's nothing, and it's helpful. I mean, it's a good thing they do that. I mean, I like it when we get it. I think last time we got for Christmas, I think we got $54. I think something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah, that's what I used actually was the iGive. You could pick your shopping, like online shopping store, which I picked Amazon, and then I picked HRS Chicago. So, like I said, I spent like 60 something, and then whatever you guys get out of that. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what Jan and I are talking about for people that don't know is you go on like Amazon.com, which everyone knows what that is. And go to it's like /iGive or /smile, and I think the iGive has an app. Like I downloaded the iGive app and I use that on my phone. And
yeah, I do that too now. You have to go to the it was a button on my Internet Explorer, I think it is. It was a button. Now I just use the app, and it's way easier.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. All you do is add. For the people listening, all you do is just add your preferred rescue. You pick one, and then you add them to, and then you go on your way shopping, and you're making a donation while just going on doing your normal shopping. So
right for Kohl's, like Kohl.com, Target, everything, Walmart. There's thousands of stores on there.
Yeah, it is. So just to summarize that for everyone. So when you go to when you're shopping online, see if it's you can buy it with Smile or iGive, so you can make a donation to your local rescue. And that was there anything else that you wanted to dive into as far as the perspective of non-bunny people, non-bunny parents?
No, I think your commentator said it well. And it's true. There's probably some positive impact over the educational endeavors of the National Health Rabbit Society and their local chapters, which is their job. Is to keep people, to educate people about rabbits and their complex needs. And once we have one in their possession, how to help. How to take care of them, answer questions, all that. So, yeah, I think they have moved along. But, there's also the ones out there that think that they're just disposable. They're Easter gifts, and they're like, I think they think they're like hamsters. You put them in a cage, and, they just kind of hang out, and then they die after 2 years. I think that sometimes people think that's what it is. We've even had, supposed to run through rabbits in the shelter and say, I had no idea this one even lived this long. Also, yeah, there's improvement. But there's, they need to be elevated. Their status needs to be cat dogs. And I think that's what our job is. And I think working with area shelters, people are going into shelters and seeing 10 rabbits at a time and realizing, yes, there's an overpopulation crisis with rabbits, as well as dogs and cats, and they're very popular pets. For every 300 cats, there's maybe 50 rabbits, but they may be a minority, but they're still important, to learn, that they have the same value.
Yeah, my personal opinion on it, and then we'll go into our last topic of the show. Is that some situations are probably still real bad, as far as people just not knowing, and people not doing the research, and people just being flat out ignorant to doing the research. But I have noticed a way better effort by people in the bunny community, people at rescues and chapters, house rabbit societies across the country, that they're making more of a considerable effort of how complicated it can be to take care of a bunny, how hard it can be, what goes into it. So, every situation is not gonna, it's not gonna work out. But, I think they are, with the effort that they're making and trying to spread the word on what it takes to take care of a bunny, they've got to be saving some lives. So,
like preserving some of the homes, preserving some of the homes for the bunnies, and problem solving. Because I get calls too. They would ask things like, my bunny keeps peeing by the litter box, not in the litter box. What can I do? And of course, first thing we say is, your bunny neutered. Well, no, we haven't hit the dome. We can't afford it. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, there's your problem. Yeah. Once your bunny's neutered, your bunny will go in the litter box. Especially, most of the time. Well, that's not all of them, but impeccably. Bunnies can't litter train unless they're spayed and neutered. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. So. And sometimes they don't want to bother with the spay and neuter, and then they give them up. And other times they're like, oh, I get it, okay, now. And then they ask, where can I get my bunny neutered? So then we give them some low-cost options and some, list of rabbit-savvy vets that will neuter their rabbit. And they get that done, and, the ones that really care will, go forward with the advice. Sometimes it's a matter of just problem-solving, about managing their expectations and problem solving. They didn't. I never thought of that. My bunny's lunging at me. What should I do? Get him out of the cage. Put him in a pen. There's a lot of things we know. We've known for so long about rabbits, and then passing that along to people who don't have experience with rabbits. Help them problem solve some of the experiences with their bunnies. So, yeah. So Facebook's good at that too. So.
Yeah, that actually goes right into our next topic, which is the HRS Facebook group page, the one that's got like over 6,000 members. Me, you, Dustin, a bunch of bunny people are members of it, and we try to be like active. I'd say a considerable amount of the posts are just people like sharing their bunnies, with videos and pictures, which is awesome. You get to see cool little moments. The topic I wanted to talk about with you, and you said you're an admin of. When I talked to you about this off the air, you said you were an admin of this group.
Right. Like I said, I started with the National House Rabbit Society as an educator at large back in, I think, 1999. That means that I'm a licensed educator with the National House Rabbit Society, which all means I can use their logo, educational materials, and helping to educate people around me. We're not a chapter of HRS anymore. I personally am still an educator at large. One of my duties is to help man Facebook group. And how I do that is I'm one of maybe, I think, 8 admins that try to manage this group of 6,400 people, because when you get a lot of people in one group, there's a whole lot of things going on. So what we try to do is nip bad information and rudeness in the bud and delete it and warn people and all that, because for instance, there was one girl who said something about she was trying to explain that she didn't you put drops as treats for rabbits is bad, we know, but she was trying to explain that she thinks the sugar in it, and even the lactose in it, rather than the yogurt. So, of course, she got attacked a lot. I mean, the person was like, what do you mean, yogurt treats are bad, blah, blah, blah. She was just trying to say is, maybe the live bacteria in yogurt is beneficial. And then what's bad for the bunny is the sugar. And while some people understood that and said, yeah, we see what you mean, but no, even some vets give yogurt, those bunnies that are trying to get back on track with stasis. But there was a lot of people attacking her as well. So what we tried to do is step in as admin, and we try to manage that kind of intensity because we want the group to be fun and educational for new people. New people start all the time. And the reason that why they get into this group is they want to learn more about their bunny. So they're going to post ignorant things. So what the community is supposed to be, what is how we want it to be, the community of posters is to help enlighten the person. Like for instance, someone will, here's a picture of my bunny, blah, blah, blah. And someone will say, oh, your cage is kind of small. Did you ever think of putting a pen in front of it so the bunny has more room? And the person will like, oh, well, where do you get the pens? And then they're giving them links to where to buy bigger pens or instructions on how to do that. Things to help support rabbit people.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I am just one of the admins that tries to catch some of the intensity, because you get 6,400 people behind a computer in nominate state, and you're going to have some fun buying. So we try to keep that kind of intensity down, and then there's to keep the obscenity down. When they start swearing on there and stuff, some of the admins just send warnings, and some of them just delete. Just use the delete button, get rid of anything, and plus some things that aren't allowed have to be removed, like dressing up rabbits, laying rabbits on their back, bathing rabbits full into this, and we don't want in graphic pictures. We want it to be a place where people can feel comfortable and supported, not be slapped with graphic images and bunnies and dresses and things like that aren't really beneficial to the rabbit and really can be harmful. So, we try to educate in the right way and try to, a healthy debate is good, but we try to curtail and de-escalate any rudeness or intensity that starts, and it's a big job.
Yeah. So.
But the reason for the group is so that rabbit community of people, can support each other and inform each other and give some problem-solving ideas and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I think it's a good place where people can talk to each other. I see a lot of posts where it's like in the middle of the night, and people are they just have a question. They don't know what to do. So
right.
Maybe they just don't have anyone in particular to contact. I always just tell people, I don't really get questions that often, but I always just tell people rabbit.org. It's like the best resource that I know personally to look up information regarding the bunnies. And it has a good breakdown on its website of what to do in certain situations. But part of the thing I brought up the group and the group page is that I saw a couple of posts this week. I'm recording this on January 17th, 2016. I was supposed to say that in the beginning. I saw this earlier in the week is that some people have left, and the reasons they leave the group, one of them was like the mom of a bunny page, Luigi the Bunny, I believe. She left, and it was more so along the lines of her frustration with people asking. It was kind of weird asking questions that they should know. Those kind of lines. Did you guys ever think like that would be an issue?
She was concerned about people posting things they should know already, meaning asking for information. Is that what you mean? Or
I think that was somewhere along the lines. I went to look for it, and I think it's not there anymore since she left the group. Like, I went to look.
Right.
Yeah, because she left the group page. But, I don't know if you know the Facebook page, Luigi the Bunny. But she said, like, her and the bunny were, like, leaving the group page. And it was, like, a long post about... I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but it was somewhere along the lines of people... She just kind of it was frustrating to her about the posts about, like, questions that should be easy or questions that shouldn't be asked. And it was somewhere along those lines. So... I just thought that was really, really interesting because that's like the one thing I haven't really come across. I've seen people get booted. I've seen people get booted off the page, but I've never seen someone like leaving the page. And it happened a second time. The other person, I don't, as far as I knew, didn't have like a Facebook bunny page for their own bunny at home. But someone else left, and it was somewhere along those lines of the posts. Something with the posts where they were frustrated about the kinds of posts that were on the page. So
right, yeah, we had admins because we have our own page. We had pretty much a discussion about that. Some people were writing "I'm leaving because" posts, and then we were getting reports. People were reporting that post saying, how helpful is this post to anybody to hear that they're leaving because they don't accomplish anything? And here it says, one guy said, requested that they remove the "I'm leaving because" post because they really don't accomplish anything but create more drama and strife.
Yeah.
And we said, we're going to put it in the guidelines that issues with the groups need to be sent to admins and not posted on the group to create drama and strife. Because when someone says, I'm getting really tired of this blah, 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 I'm leaving because of it. And then you get 900 posts where people say, yeah, me too, I don't like that either, blah, blah, blah. So it was agreed that in the guidelines it would be articulated that if you have a problem with any post or anything going on, to message an admin, and we're all up there in the admin thing, and you can message any of them, and you can say, so what people are doing lately, they're reporting every little thing, like one person reported something very, very, just minor. So people are reporting every little thing that they don't like,
Yeah. Well,
and then, like I said, healthy debate is good. Rudeness isn't. If the person's rude, they get warned. They're private messaged. There's 2 or 3 people who mainly man that part. They warn the people and say, this post you were rude, and there was this. No reason. This is a warning for you. And once a person gets warned a couple times, they go on a list. And if they do it again, then they're told that they're being removed because they're causing drama and strife. We're just trying to de-escalate drama and strife. And we have 6,400 people, like I said, posting anonymously behind a computer. You're going to have a lot of drama.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of admins to try to control that without being, too controlling. People have the right to say what they want. But we're trying to keep it, and if anything is not about rabbits, it's removed. Because there are so many members. There's huge, 6,400 people is a lot. So we keep it to rabbit-only regulated, no dressing up the bunny, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then new people come on, and they post a picture of the bunny, and they say, "Oh, I'm so happy to be in this group. I just want to share my bunny." And then all the criticism, like, "Well, how come you got this size bed? How come the bunny is shaved?" And blah, blah, you know, they start yelling at them, and then the editors have to come in and discuss, and it's all on tone. If the tone is bad, you know, and it's causing, you know, it's starting to escalate, we just start deleting the comments that are rude, you know, and that's kind of, you know, what we do is kind of go through them and babysit them, and, you know. But when it comes to differences of opinion on care, as long as it's respectful and healthy debate, that's great. But, you know, like I said, we just try to reduce the drama and the off-topic stuff and the rudeness, and if some starts getting hostile, you know. So, yeah, the purpose of the group is so that people have a place to go to seek support and advice and to share their bunny passion. And, yeah, we try to keep it as nice as possible, but, you know, it's very difficult with that many. I mean, there was even talk about, you know, stopping and, you know, not letting any more people come in and all that, but that's kind of hard to do if they're a national, you know, they're a national group, so that's a little hard to do. So, yeah, there's like 8 of us, and maybe 4 of us are more active than others, but everyone else is, you know, back up, you know, so, yeah. And if someone, you know, I'll notice something, and I'll say something, and then someone else, another admin will say, yeah, I agree with this, and let's send this one a warning, and, you know, so it's it's a lot of work. I mean, the only thing I have to do with the Chicago one is just make sure people aren't mean to each other.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have that many. You know? And also, in our group, we don't allow owner give-ups being posted because, and I don't think the national group allows owner give-ups either. Yeah, they can post bunnies needing rescue from shelters, and I think they allow Craigslist bunnies, but not owner give-ups.
Yeah, well, when people do Craigslist posts, they get, like, assaulted. Well, like, not when, oh man, it was maybe 2 months ago, this woman, usually people, when they do Craigslist posts, it's usually they came across this on Craigslist and they're just trying to help the bunny out, which is fine. You know,
right.
You're just trying to help it out and, you know, get it a home. But this one woman, she just didn't really realize, you know, the kind of, because when it comes to Craigslist, you can really, really deal with some shady people.
Right.
So, you know, you're dealing with a complete stranger and
right.
you just don't know. She had a post, and it was her own post, like her own post on Craigslist that she shared in the group, and we're just all saying to her, I even chimed in, I really don't even chime in on this, but all I said was, hey, you know, Craigslist just can attract people that want to harm rabbits or use them for food rather than,
right.
you know, giving them a good home. And she was arguing with us the whole way, saying, you know, it's nonsense that people, not everyone is like that. And we're like, yeah, of course not everyone, but there are a lot of people that on Craigslist that go on there with that kind of intent, you know, knowing that there isn't like a profile on them on Craigslist or anything. It's just like a phone number or an email.
Right.
You don't know.
And a lot of them are breeders. The breeders they're not supposed to, I guess it's against Craigslist rules to post animals for sale, but they can try to, owners can try to rehome the rabbits on there. So a lot of breeders will go on and say, oh, look, I have these 7 babies. I'm willing to give, 2 up, and there's an adoption fee, when they're actually breeders and they're trying to sell their rabbits.
Yeah.
So that's why on my on our HRS Chicago group on Facebook, we don't allow Craigslist rabbits at all because, and we don't allow owner give-ups. Because what happens is, the people in my group are usually people who are my members and adopters, and they're good, responsible animal people. There's not many hardcore rescue people on there, and they want to sleep at night. So you're going to, if they're going to see constantly Craigslist bunnies needing homes and bunnies unwanted, that's hard on them, I mean, and I tell people who want to give up their bunny, you have to go somewhere else. You're not giving up, because a lot of them will join just to give up their rabbit,
Yeah.
You get a lot of, that's why we don't allow the owner give-ups, because a lot of them will join the group, and you let them in, and then they'll say, I have to give my rabbit up. Well, and then people in the group who are responsible, kind-hearted, bunny-loving people, oh my God, this poor bunny, what are we going to do? I mean, sometimes there's special circumstances, but people want to sleep at night, and I don't want our group to be somewhere, oh my God, I don't want to get on there. I have to see all these sad cases all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I had one person who left the group and blocked me because she kept posting rescue-only animals on the group. And I told her, I said, these are rescue-only. They're not open to the public. They're only open to rescues. I said, can you please, post on, there's a group called Rescue. I said, put it on your own wall, if you know a lot of rescue people, or put it in the group rescue if they need, the shelter needs help getting them out by approved rescue people. I said, you put them here and you just get a bunch of people laminating like, oh my God, the poor bunny, what are we going to do? What can you do? And there's nothing they can do because they're not up for adoption. They're just in the back next for rescue people.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, I really don't, I don't want to put rescue-only rabbits on our site. So she left and blocked me because she got angry about it. And she said, well, you never know when it might help. And I said, well, then put it on your wall. Because that's what I do. I don't put it in our group. If I put it on my wall because I do know rescue people. And I try to say, rescue only. These are only for rescue. They're not up for adoption. So, yeah.
Well, that was a lot covered in the show. Almost an hour and a half. Was there? No, which is awesome. There's no sponsors, so there's no time limit. We can talk as long as we want for the show. So, was there anything else that you wanted to say about HRS Chicago? Was there any events or fundraisers coming up soon? Anything along those lines?
Well, this is kind of our quiet time. We had our hackathon. We had a little bunny spa group going on. Our next event will be our big picnic in June. It's usually the first or second Saturday in June in Wooddale for our members. So that's about it. So what we're working on now is just getting through our end of the year office work and trying to get some bunnies out. We had an adoption yesterday, which we're really happy about. Our bunny Riley went home. So yay! So yeah, and then of course there's shelters calling us all the time. So no, we're just focusing on the bunnies right now, not so much on events and fundraisers. We had our booster T-shirt fundraiser not too long ago, and that was just in December, and that was really nice. So for the next June, we're going to focus on the rabbits. Getting them out of shelters, getting them in homes. Working on our e-newsletter, and then we're going to do another newsletter for the picnic. So yeah, that's about it. We're just going to be trucking along with the bunnies.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for your opinion on all the facts we talked about, and thank you for coming on the show.
Sure, no problem.
All right, Jan, I will definitely talk to you later at some point about some kind of bunny subject.
Okay.
Through
great.
text or Facebook or something sometime in the future. Thank you for coming on. You have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'd like to thank Jan Rebmann for being a guest of the show. She provided a lot of insight to those topics. Again, we are at Official Bunnyzine on Instagram, at Official Bzine on Twitter, and just Bunnyzine on Facebook. Make sure you like us and follow us on there. You can find this show on YouTube.com, Soundcloud.com, and iTunes Podcasts. Please share and subscribe to either your favorite format. Don't forget about January's issue on BunnyZine.com, the current issue with Miss Buns on the cover. That's pretty much it for me, you guys. First new show of 2016. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys later.